Hi, my name is Richard Sanders, and today we're going to do something a little bit crazy. How many people here like card tricks? Bummer. We're going to be doing a rope trick. I'm going to give this out to be examined to somebody. Gentleman over here, you don't look too busy. Please, there, would you examine it? Thank you. And in fact, I have another piece of rope, a little bit smaller. Would you examine that one as well? And I need kind of a big guy, real macho man. You, sir, perfect. That one's for you. Go crazy. There we go. You're examining the ropes. You're actually biting yours. Give me that back. That's a little strange. You've examined this rope, and of course you have examined this rope. 3 ropes examined by 3 very strange people. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to create the illusion that these 3 ropes are the same size simply by doing this. See? Okay. Maybe it's the lighting. Hold on. If I put it in the right lighting, it almost seems like the ropes are the same size. Check it out, really. If you look at them, this end here, this rope here, is the same size as this rope here, which is the same size as this rope here. Actually, you know what? Maybe this is too confusing. Too many things. Let me get rid of one of the ropes. We'll just do the trick with 2 ropes. In fact, you know what? Let's use 1. That's probably going to be easier. In fact, if you just missed that a second ago, I had 2 ropes. And then from those 2 ropes, we made 1. Wait a minute. Maybe it's too confusing. Again, you know what? Forget about the rope itself. Just watch the ends. In fact, watch this end shoot up my sleeve. Around the other side. That tickles. That's weird. Let's send the other end across. That's the second end, and that's the middle. Again, confusing because you're not sure what to watch for, and it's happening quickly. Let me show you how that trick happened in slow motion. Here's what happened. I threw the middle over to here. Then I took the ends, and you'll see it in slow motion, and they traveled down here. Like so. Okay, again, too confusing. You know what? Forget it. Let's just use... Oh, that's embarrassing. Let me put those away. No one saw... Oh, wait. Now I just have a loop. In fact, sir, can you just say stop? Right there. Perfect. I'll get the ends, and I'll put them back on the rope. So we're back to normal. Or are we? Because you see, this works with static electricity. Look, I get a little static over here, a little static over here, and the 2 ends join. That's weird. Don't worry, I'm a professional, though. That's right. I carry extra ends. Let me find a good spot right about there. See, we can put the ends back on. In case you missed that, a second ago, we didn't have ends. Then I took the ends and we put them on. Remember, we had no ends, and then I took the ends and I literally just threw them onto the rope. Okay, forget about the ends, because the ends aren't the thing to worry about. It's actually the middle. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's take that middle. I'll put it right there. That's perfect. And you can see it drop right back on the rope, leaving a solid piece of rope. But you remember, this is an illusion. In fact, an illusion with 1, 2, 3 pieces of rope that you examined at the beginning. They were 3 ropes of 3 different sizes. And as you can see, this is the small one, this is the medium one, and this is the long one. Again, maybe you can't tell. It's the lighting. Here, look. I'll hold the medium piece here. I'll hold the long piece over here. See? And I'll hold the short piece right here in the middle. Look, I'll break the illusion. Now, there's a short piece. There's the medium piece. There's the long piece. That's the trick. Elevator down, please. Piece of rope. This could be examined by anybody in the audience. It's kind of long. I also have a smaller piece. Let's right on this shoulder. I knew it was there. Again, pretty solid. Could be examined by just about anybody. And I also have kind of a medium piece. This could be examined by no one. It's really gimmicked. No, it's not. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to create the illusion that the 3 ropes are the same size. To do that, I hold them like this. Just by moving my hands, you almost under the impression that the ropes are evening out to about the same length. That's just an illusion. Because of course it's impossible. I mean, for a small rope to be the same size as a long rope to be the same size as a medium rope. That's, you know what, too many things to follow. Let me get rid of that. That's a little strange. We'll just do it with 2 ropes. Look at this, 2 ropes. You know what, in fact, let's start over with just 1 rope. That's probably a little better. In fact, forget the rope itself. Just watch the ends. In fact, this end here, make sure it's here and not here. Sorry. This end goes across as well. That leaves the middle. Hold on. Let me show you how I did that, because that was strange. This works by gravity. You see, if the ends are up here with gravity, whoop, they travel down there. That was strange. You know what? Forget this whole thing. Even we don't even need the ends. You know, we'll just use a middle. This is weird. Sir, can you just say stop, please? Right there? Perfect. I'll grab the ends, put them back on the rope. That's great. Of course, this works with static electricity. I'm sure you understand. I get a little static over here, get a little static over here, and the two ends join together. To do this, though, you got to carry, that's right, extra ends. I've got a couple over here. All I do is put them on over there. Now, the problem is if you put ends on, you can't take them off. Sorry about that. Let me put those back on. That's better. Oh, sorry. That's my fault. I put them back on the wrong side. Let me take them off there and put them up there. Much better. Again, these are ends that can't, sorry, let me put those back. It's actually not the ends that you have to worry about. It's actually the middle, because the middle comes off. Sorry. Let me pop that back on. That's much better over there. Here's the thing. This is all an illusion done with 1, 2, 3 pieces of rope that you examine at the very beginning. Each of these pieces was a different size, and it is. As you can tell, this is the long rope. See? Maybe it's the lighting. See the long rope? That's the medium rope. That's the small rope. And that's the trick. Thank you. Good night. Hi. Sorry, you caught me off guard. We're back here in the explanation time. This is where we reveal all the tricks, all the secrets, and show you how you can do the trick that we just did. I'm going to stop doing this with my hands now. Okay, to do this trick, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a couple of pieces of rope. The exact lengths are 9 inches. This is a small one. It's a 9-inch length of rope. The medium one is a 26 inch piece of rope, and the third one is a 47-inch piece of rope. Now, these are cut to my specifications, the way I'm comfortable with it. But depending on yourself, you might want the ropes a little shorter or a little longer. So if you do, here's how you measure the ropes. Take your longest rope, fold it in half like this. Then take your small rope, fold it inside of the long rope. So you basically have what looks like 2 U's, a big U and a small U. U little, U big. I don't know what that means either. But this will give you the length of rope that you need for your medium piece. So when you put this here, you want to make the medium piece so that it's the same length from the top of these two all the way to the bottom of these two, right there. So basically you can take any length of rope. If your long rope is shorter and it only came to there, then your medium rope would only come to there as well. So you'd have 3 pieces that length. So that's how you gauge the lengths of the pieces of rope that you want. Okay? For sake of explanation, we'll assume you're using the same size that I mentioned. Here's how you begin the trick. I like to have the 3 ropes examined. You can do that. It depends on your personality. This is a trick that can be done close up. It can be done on stage. There's a lot of possibilities for it. In the routine, there are many different phases. You can use all the phases, or you can only use parts of them. You can add parts to your routines, but whatever you do, there's a lot of different things in it. Let's begin. To actually begin a routine, I have the 3 ropes examined. I begin by taking back the longest piece. There's a reason for that, because I'm going to lay it into my hand so that there's about 3 or 4 inches, maybe 5 or 6. I don't know, something like that. And it's going to be positioned in my left hand like so. The base of it, the base of my fingers near my pinky, that's going to be where this long piece lies. And it kind of goes at a diagonal over my fingers like that. That's very important. You'll see why in a moment. So I grab the rope from the person. I put the rope into that position. Then I grab the small piece, and I'm going to lay it over this one in an X fashion, like that, okay? So when I grab the rope, I put it over this one so it forms an X, okay? From your perspective, I'm going to turn my hand around. It would be like so, the X, okay? Now here's the move. I'm going to do it from your perspective. As I go to grab the third piece of rope. That's your misdirection. As you go to reach over to grab that third piece, here's what happens. The fingers twist this piece up and twist the long piece down. You don't even twist, actually. You just bring this up. You clip it with either your second or third finger. You could just bring it up this way or this way, whatever you're comfortable with. But when you bring it up and your hand comes up, this end will naturally fall like that, okay? So that's the move. It's actually gravity. You bring this here and let that fall, and then squeeze your hand around it. So essentially what you have now is the short piece wrapped around the long piece, the long end coming around this way. But to the audience, it looks like you still have a small piece and a long piece in your hand, okay? One more time in actual speed. Here, here, and put your hands around it, okay? So we're going to come back around to the front. So you're in this position now as you're getting the third rope. You bring it up, you add the third rope to the bundle, okay? Doesn't really matter where it goes. I like to place it right in between these two pieces. So I've got this loop here. Whoopsie daisy, I'll get that, don't worry about it. Thank you, nothing happened. So you've got this piece here. This piece comes over here. And so I hold it in front of this. So when I spread the ropes out like this, they see a small rope here, the medium rope here, and the long rope here. I'm just crunching them together so that the medium rope ends up in the middle. Okay, it's actually in between these two pieces. There we go. So now, to make the ropes go the same size, very simple. You grab this small piece, clip it between your first finger and second, and actually all you're really doing is pulling like this. I'll move the middle piece out of the way. What's actually happening, the long piece is just pulling down like this till they're the same size. And that's the move. But when you cover it like this, you don't want that part visible to the audience. Grab here, and I wrap my index finger and thumb around the other pieces so it looks like all the pieces are in my hand. But really, the only piece I'm pulling on is this piece. But if I keep my hand here, they can't tell where I'm pulling, and it just looks like all the ropes are suddenly getting to be the same length, and they are. So that's how you get the ropes to be the same length. Now we're going to go into the false count. Okay, here we go. This is how you count the ropes as 3 separate pieces of rope the same length. In your hand, you have your loop of small rope and your loop of big rope here. You also have your regular piece of rope. The regular piece of rope is in your hand next to the other pieces, and these I transfer from my left hand to my right like this. Okay, because I'm going to use my left hand to count. I start the count by actually pulling out the medium regular piece, counting 1. Okay, now as I do this, as this clears my hand to here, you'll notice that there is a gap obviously in between the loop of long rope. In that gap, I'm just going to put my fingers. It's just done casually. You don't make a big move out of it. As you pull your hand out, I put my fingers in between that gap right here. Okay? So right there. So as this is pulled out, boom, sorry. So from here, as it's pulled out, fingers go in the gap. Because now I'm going to go in to supposedly pull the second length of rope out. What actually happens is this, 2 things, and I'm going to turn around so you can get a view from behind for this, from your perspective. Here's what's happening. You have your fingers in between the 2 loops. You're going to come over to supposedly take the second loop. This is held between your first finger and thumb of the left hand. As you come in, your second finger extends here, okay? It's going to extend behind these 2 loops as you place this right into the crotch of your thumb right here. This gets placed into the crotch of your thumb as this second finger and first finger are now going to clip this piece here. So I think you can get a view of that. Okay, so this comes here, grab with your thumb, this gets clipped between these 2 fingers, and you pull both out. Now because your fingers were already in the middle of those 2 ropes, when you pull out, it's naturally going to pull that rope separately so that it looks like a separate rope. So we'll try that one more time so you can see it from your perspective. You pull the real rope out. As you do, your fingers go inside the loop. You go to pull the second one out. As you do, this gets pushed into the thumb. These get clipped, simultaneously pulled out as these fingers ride against the rope, showing 2. And then lastly, you come in, grab this third one, which is actually the one you had before, and just pull it out, counting 3. Okay? So I'm going to do the whole thing from your perspective in regular speed. 1, 2, 3. From the front now, I'm going to turn around. You'll see that when we do it again, there's 1, here comes number 2, and here's number 3. And that's a false count. Okay, we've false counted the chords. Now we're going to go into the actual phase 1 of the rope routine. You're now going to remove the actual medium piece. You're going to remove it saying, maybe there's too many pieces. Let's get rid of this one. I always put it into a pocket which is out of view. I'll put it into my back pocket. You don't want this in view at this point because you want all focus on these ropes here. You then show these ropes as 2 simply by holding them in the middle where they meet, like so. If you really want to get finesseful on it, I don't know if finesseful is a word, but you can actually just, by putting your thumb over that loop, you can actually show it on both sides. I don't know why you'd necessarily want to, but you can. Come back on this side. So here you are, showing 2 pieces of rope. Here's the first restoration. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to reach down and grab this piece of rope near the bottom. Okay? You're going to grab it, and notice the pinky is holding onto it like this. There's a reason for that, because what you're going to do is you're now going to come up, and this is the move. You're basically going to quickly grab this piece here in your right hand, and you're going to let go of the rest like that. Okay? So that's all that's happening. If you focus on this piece right here, hand comes up, grabs, and lets go. And the rope will automatically restore. So in actual speed, when you're down in this position, you just grab, the rope restores. You want to speed that up when you do that. You don't want to be doing that in slow motion. You really want to grab that rope as quickly as you can. You almost just practice doing that. That's it. And the rope restores. Okay, we're now going to explain one of the basic principles of the rope routine. It's the end switch. This is used many times throughout the routine, so this is the move you really got to learn. And what it is, you're holding the long rope in the base of your right fingers, held by your pinky at the bottom, like that. Okay? And the small rope is held in the hand like that. It gives the illusion that this is one continuous piece of rope. In reality, it's 2. Okay? Now here's what's going to happen. You're going to show the rope. You're going to bring your left hand up the length of the rope so that you've got kind of an equal distance on either side. In reality, this is the real side. This is your side with the small piece. What it's going to look like is you're just throwing the ends over each other like this and moving your hand down. What you've actually done is switched the ends that were visible for the actual small rope folded in half. And here's how that's done. Here's the move. First, from the front, from the audience perspective, you're going to hold it in your hand with a piece dangling out kind of diagonally, like you did with the end switch right at the beginning of the routine. This piece gets thrown over it in an X fashion like that. What's going to happen is very similar to that first switch at the beginning. This is going to come down and brought over to here. When it's here, you're going to let go and you're going to grab this piece that's in view. So let go here, grab here. Place it here, bring it around, let go, grab here. So what you've essentially done is you're still showing 2 ends, but you've switched it for the small loop running around the big loop. Okay? And the long loop is held together right here. I'm going to show you from your perspective right now. Okay? Here we go. The two ropes are held here. This rope gets thrown on top, X fashion. Bring it underneath. It's actually easy if you clip it with the second finger there. So just bring it, clip it, and grab here. And bring this around. So you're actually just bringing this all the way around and taking this piece if you want to do it in one kind of continuous sweep. That's basically what's happening. Bring it around, clip, switch. So now you've switched the ends right here, okay? That's from your perspective. One more time, around, clip. You're actually pulling it around the index finger, like so, and coming down. Okay, back to the other perspective. What's going to happen now, you've switched the ends, you have them here. You're now going to pull them down the rope. As you do, you're actually just pulling the ends down the rope. As you do, about halfway down, you're going to unloop these pieces. So what you're going to do is you're just going to push this piece around the rope so it comes around the other side. And you're going to continue moving down the rope, clipped on your pinky, like that. Let's do that again. You're going to come here, around, switch the ends. As you come down, push this piece around and up as you pull down. It actually looks very difficult when you do it in slow motion, but it's actually one of those things that it's very simple to do because it's done. When you're moving down the rope, it's the bigger movement hides the smaller movement. So as you come down, you switch like so, okay? From your perspective, the twirly magician. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Here's your ends. Switch, pull down, push this around, and continue pulling like so. So you now have two ends here. One more time. Here, around, pull down, out, around, here. Last time in actual speed, it looks like this. And you're in this position. Okay. That is what I like to call the end switch. So, the second phase of the routine, once you've restored the rope, is you're going to cut the rope and then restore it again a second time. To cut the rope, you're going to use the basic switching of the ends move, as we learned earlier, where you come around, switch, pull down. For this move in particular, this is the only move, well, one other move actually, you're not going to unhook the ends. So you're not going to do the standard unhook here. You're just going to pull it down all the way, keeping them hooked together. Okay? So once again, you're going to do the actual move. Don't unhook, just pull them down. Okay? So you're in this position. You're then going to extend your two fingers, your first finger and second finger. That's what I name mine. And you're going to pretend to cut the rope. So all you do is just bring your fingers in and go. I find that with your mouth really adds to it. You do this. Try it at home, you'll like it. Come back down. You've cut the rope. So you've cut the rope like that. And so to the audience, it looks like you just visually cut the rope. You show the two ropes and you say, in case you didn't see that, a moment ago I cut the rope and then I restored it. You're going to restore it a second time. You can use the exact same move which we discussed before, which was the grab, let go. I like to change it up sometimes, and I do this one occasionally as well. Same technique. You grab this rope at the bottom, but I hold my hand underneath this loop part. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let this fall. As it falls, this looks tricky and it's not simple, but it's one of those things you gain confidence of through practice. As it falls down, I'm going to grab this part and continue to let it fall. So it's actually gravity that does it. If we come back to that position, watch. I let it go and I just grab this as it comes and passes. So you want to make sure that this is kind of even with your hand when it falls. So it looks like this. and it just restores. Try that again. So you grab this piece, hold it here, let it go, and it restores immediately. So that is a second phase. So or you can restore it the other way, but either way, restore the rope a second time. What's going to happen, this is the start of all the fun, because a lot of really visual, cool things start to happen here. What you're going to do now is you're going to use your end switch again, bring it down, show the loop here. You're now going to make it look like the ends are traveling up your sleeve around into this hand. To do that, here's what happens. So you're in this position, small loop here, big loop there. The middle is actually here of the long rope. Okay? As you're in this position, casually just I lay my index finger on top of the loop so it's actually clipped here. Okay? You could be here, just move your finger there. Okay? That's going to become important in a minute, this position. So here's what happens. You pull this into your hand like that. Once it's out of view, you pretend to flick it up your sleeve in what I like to call bad breakdancing technique. You flick here, you do. And then when it looks like people think not necessarily that the rope flew around, they think maybe you're having a small seizure. You actually, because of my breakdancing technique, but generally if you're good, it'll look good. You flick this up like this. Here's the move. When it comes around to the right hand, you flick it up like that. That's it. Very simple. So when you put the two together, you push that in. It really looks like it flies around. Okay? Now, you're going to cause the next end to travel. To do that, you're going to push the next end in, but when you push it into your hand, you're not going to push it in all the way. You're going to push it in so that when the last piece goes down, you're actually just going to push your thumb down on it. So it's actually held against your finger with your thumb, but it's out of view. The reason you want to keep that held there is because you're going to need to get a hold of it later. So go like that. To all intents and purposes, it looks like it's pushed in your hand. Pretend to swing it around again, and now on the right-hand side, you're simply going to drop the other end like this. Okay? It looks like the other end has traveled across. Now your pinky on this hand here is going to just catch underneath and now just pull, showing the middle over there and the piece of rope. To now get rid of these ends here, what you're going to do is you're going to place your hands together for a moment as if playing with the rope. When you do, your right hand is going to come over. This is the exposed view because it happens this way. Actually, yeah, it happens this way. As you come over, you're going to grab this piece of rope, okay, here, and you're going to start to pull it out. At the same time as the right hand is moving up, this left hand is going to stroke down on the rope, okay? So as I grab here, the left hand releases from here and just pulls down on the rope like this and brings it into view up here. Okay, so one more time. These are pushed down into your hand. You've got a grip on that top piece. You're here. You grab, left hand pulls down, bring the rope back up like this. And now you're back in starting position and ready to go. With the small loop here, ready. Small piece, ready to go. This is a sliding end section. This is a lot of fun. This move, when you do this for laymen, literally, you can almost see their eyes pop out because it's really visual. Here's what happens. You're going to do your end switch again. Up and over, switch, come down, unloop. Basic end switch. But now you're going to tell them, as you heard in the patter, you're explaining you're going to do it in slow motion. So what you do is you throw the middle over here,